To do here is a session here around sexuality, what our blocks are, what we're open to, what sexuality really is, because sexuality is something that has been projected upon for eons and eons. It's been hurt, it's been abused, it's been confused, it's been distorted, it's been perverted. And by the time that we are introduced to sexuality at whatever age, 4, 5, 12, whatever age where it starts, where we become aware of it, it's already so touched by millions of people and their stories and their narratives. And just like you were to receive like a garden or a farm from your family, and then there's the crops and the beautiful things that we've been given, our ancestors have given us pleasure and openness and tantra and like Kama Sutra. There's things that our ancestors have given us around sexuality. In the Jewish mystic lineage, there's Kabbalistic ideas of sex and how the world is an orgasm, is God orgasming. There is those stories, and then there's also other things of the ways that we've shamed it and held it back and hurt it. So this session here is really to bring our ancestors into this and to continue to bring the crops over and the beautiful things and to nurture that abundance that we've been given, but also taking out the weeds, taking out the stories that aren't serving us. Once we start the constellation, I'm going to ask that everybody keeps their camera on. The constellation is going to be around an hour. And when your camera shuts off, it drops the energy of the field because we're all holding it together. So it's really important to keep your camera on, even if you end up falling asleep or getting really, really agitated or needing to leave the room, that's fine. But keeping the camera on because we're all doing this work together. If you're on your phone, I'm going to also request that you turn off your messaging and calls because that also turns the camera on and off. Whatever happens is part of the field. So if your Wi-Fi disconnects, it's part of it. If the voice starts getting really glitchy, that's part of it. If your cat runs in, if your kids start screaming, it's part of it. So know that it's not just what's happening in this Zoom room, but it's what's happening all around us is part of the field. If you're not chosen to be in a role and you hear something more than 4 times, like a word or a sentence or a phrase, that means that you're in a role, something's coming into your body. Feel free to share it in the chat or to say out loud. Not everybody who even gets taken by a role, I'm going to put into the field just because it's my discernment of what the actual session needs versus what are just the other voices that are coming through. If I end up yelling at anyone or telling someone to stop talking or cutting somebody off mid-sentence, I apologize in advance. It's just sometimes we're like whitewater rafting and I'm seeing that we're going this way and something's coming up and that's actually not where we're meant to go. We're actually meant to move to another side. Constellations is not a safe space. It's not here to make you feel yummy and sweet. Sometimes it's here to trigger you because what's coming up is coming out. So if any triggers come up, agitations, anger, sadness, trauma, it's coming up because it's coming out. If you're not chosen in a role, you're still in a role, you actually become the field. So you're going to feel things in your body. So it's really important to just know that everybody here, right now it's 31, everybody here is taking part, even if you're not actively speaking. Does anyone have any questions before we start?
Ricky, can 2 people be in one frame or 1 person per frame?
2 people can be in one frame. If one of you end up in a role, then we're going to ask you to split frames.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Awesome. If you haven't written your intention yet, you can go ahead and write that. And again, if you want to change your name, now's the time to do it too. Renata is our client, and she's going to ask people to take on roles to represent different parts of her subconscious. What's going to come through is the common denominator for everybody here. So it's working on everybody at once. If you're asked to be in a role, please practice self-responsibility. Is your Wi-Fi good? Are your kids running around and screaming? Can you get distracted or interrupted? Like, please take responsibility for that. If any of those aren't complete, please say no. So this way we can let the fields come through. Obviously, if your Wi-Fi ends up kind of cutting out only once you're in a role, it's part of it, but just, you know where you're at right now. So just take responsibility and also check in with yourself. If it's a no, say no. We won't get offended here. If you're in a role and it starts feeling too intense, you can lower the volume, like literally just pretend you're turning the knob down and just lower the intensity. All right. So, Renata, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like seeing what everybody's writing. It's almost making me want to change my intention, but all of them feel relevant in some way.
Totally. Yeah, the field chose you as the client, so whatever is coming through for you is relevant for everybody. Yeah. So the first thing is, doesn't have to be a whole story, just like 2 or 3 sentences of what is your story around sexuality.
Mm. So earlier I was thinking about how in relationships, I often feel like I don't have a choice in how the relationship evolves, and that sex and intimacy is like what it often leads to, especially in relationships with men. And so it's been hard for me to have friendships with men without feeling like I'm being seen in that way or being respected in that way. So a lot of it has to do with control and self-respect and maintaining and upholding boundaries.
Yeah. What's your intention for this session?
Oh, yeah. To hmm, to trust my intuition in how I relate with people and who I give my sexual energy to.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just writing some notes down.
Mhm.
When I'm going to tell you the roles, and you're going to just feel in your heart who calls to you for each of those roles. The way you ask for somebody to step in the role is to say their name and say, are you available to take on the role of? And if you were asked and it's a yes, unmute yourself and say yes and stand up and close your eyes. I'll guide you into the roles. It's also really important before we start. If you're here for the full hour while we're in the energy. So if you know that you can't be here for the full hour, the replay will be sent out. You can leave and we're not going to get offended. After the hour's over, we'll take a break and then we'll come back and harvest the wisdom, because a lot of times there's a lot of moments of silence, but a lot's happening. So in the harvest part, we talk about everything that moves through. So Renata, the roles that are coming in are pleasure,
Mhm.
boundaries, the other, and self-respect.
Mhm.
And we'll start with those 4, and I'm sure more will come in.
Okay.
Ricky, you want to
Yeah.
just have everyone turn on their cameras at this point too?
Yeah, if you can turn on your cameras, now is the time. If you can't, we will ask you to exit the session. Yeah, thank you.
So it's pleasure, boundaries, other, and
Self-respect.
okay. And I just choose whoever?
Yeah, just look into the field and feel who calls to you.
Mm. Okay, for boundaries, Angelica,
Are you available to take on the role of boundaries?
are you available to take on the role of boundaries?
Sure. Is it okay that I'm here for the first time?
Totally. And
And
what
do
you're
you
doing,
need, do you need to see me, like my whole body if I'm standing?
yeah, we want to see your top half. And what I want you to do before you stand up is the 3 little blue dots on the side of your video to rename yourself and
Yes.
name yourself the role.
Mm. Okay. Um, for pleasure, what's the script? Would you like
Are
to
you-
take on this role? Okay.
Yeah, their name. Are you available to take on the role of?
Mm. SD, are you available to take on the role of pleasure?
Yes, I am.
Hmm. Seth, are you available to take on the role of the other?
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
okay, the fourth was self-respect.
Self-respect. Yeah.
Right. Hmm. Hmm. Rivaya, are you available to take on the role of self-respect?
Yes, I am available.
Hmm.
And Molly, can you find boundaries? She's up there. Yeah. And as you can see, it already started.
Hmm.
Yeah, I put her in there and she's not
Yeah.
there. so-
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying, where it's the Zoom is a role. The Zoom is a role, and it totally gives us a lot of information. Everyone who's watching, now's the time to start breathing into your stomach or your pelvic area, because you're bringing the information down. People in the roles, I want you to close your eyes. You're just going to start feeling sensations in your body.
Should we unmute ourselves now?
Yeah, you can unmute yourselves if you're in a role. Start feeling sensations in your body. Allow those sensations to evolve into emotions. And allow those emotions to evolve into thoughts. You can open your eyes and look around the room that you're in. And just notice what attracts you, what repulses you. And you can look in the Zoom room as well. Oh, and Rubaya, we need you to change your name.
I don't know how to do it. I think I've had this issue before.
Yeah. So Molly will change it for you.
Thank
What's
you.
your role?
Self-respect.
Mhm. Okay. And the first question for the people in the roles is, are you in the right spot? Are you in the right body language? And just asking the field, does anybody who's not in a role feel like they are in a role? Feel free to interrupt or write in the chat at any point.
I'm getting a lot of love, love, love coming through.
Okay, come on in. Forgot about that one. And change your name. Beautiful. Okay, there we go. That feels better. Boundaries, how are you doing?
Good. I almost cried just then.
Mhm. How is self-respect doing?
It started with like tightness around my chest, and now my head just feels like achy, like here.
Mhm. How is love doing?
I started off with a little bit of a headache when we started. But I'm feeling good.
How is the other doing?
I'm still dealing with my personal things coming through, and I'm also thinking that could be relevant. Like the other is in a way not overwhelmed, but like focused on their personal.
Yeah, and don't be afraid when you're in a role and you're wondering what's me, what's the role? You were chosen as the role. So what's yours is also the roles. And how's pleasure doing?
When I first started entering the role, I'm like, there's like pulsating in my body, tingling in my body. And just, when you ask to look around the room and the space, I'm like able to I'm like, everything's good in here. Everything's chill. Like even the things that are like messy, I'm like, that's good. Yeah, so I'm good.
I noticed in the chat, someone said that they feel like they're a child in the womb. I'm not getting that you should come in just yet, but we'll keep a pulse on you. So now's the part where everybody in a role, you can just begin looking at each other, and if anything wants to be said to one another or to out loud, go ahead.
I feel a lot of anger towards pleasure and frustration for like knocking me out and not giving me space to be. And it feels very like fierceful, like fire's coming towards you.
When Ricky asked, I was like, I zoned it on self-respect. And I was like, I just had this like in my mind, I'm like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, like over and over for self-respect. That kept coming to mind. Yeah. Like that's just what
So why don't you choose me more? I mean, why don't you like take me over? I mean, am I making sense? Like you're winning and I'm dying, like I'm not. I'm like, but it's not you really.
I have such a hard time understanding what you mean by that. I'm like, it's not, I don't understand where our paths cross really, like where I'm stepping on you and where I'm like, I'm having such a, like, I'm hearing what you're saying and then I'm just kind of like veering around, like what, where we connect, like where is the point that we even connect?
It's a good question. I feel sad that we don't. I'm open to connecting with you. but we're not there.
Love, you had something to say.
Yeah, I was just that time we were looking around and I was just absolutely drawn to pleasure. And as soon as I looked at her, it was like just this feeling of, oh my God, I love you so much.
I'm like here for you.
And I'm here for you. It's almost like it's a reciprocal vibe going on.
I almost feel like your mother.
Yeah, I mean, I can't quite put a finger on it, but I just have this overwhelming, and it's not overwhelming in the bad sense, but it's just like there's just so much love, and it just keeps it's like a river, like that has no beginning or end, like it's just flowing. And it's just there, it's just pouring, like I just want to give. And it's being fueled by pleasure almost.
That brought on a wave of sadness, to be honest. Know why?
Boundaries. What's happening?
I feel this beautiful mother energy, very protective. And I feel like I want to tell the other that that's how we're going to show up from now on. And I say we for some reason, I don't know, that we're going to find that love inside of ourselves and the ethical part of ourselves that wants to not be reckless anymore, to be able to trust and know that we're like on firm ground because we trust where our feet are going.
Molly, if you can add in Rebecca. Rebecca, go ahead. You are the body. And just change your name.
So
Screaming at boundaries, and I just want to close my ears and I don't want anybody to be talking at all. And I'm feeling pressure in my pelvis that's like this emptying pressure. Just want to like empty out my whole self through my pelvis, and I want everybody to stop talking because I'm busy doing that. And every time you talk, it stops me from doing that.
The other was gonna say something.
yeah, I was noticing being drawn to pleasure and the simplicity of it, like just simply moving towards being drawn to, and don't like think about anything, be like almost in a fancy land, just be with pleasure. And then as others are talking, it feels like it's just getting complicated. And in that, I feel like withdrawing and shutting down. And yeah, also grief, like I can't handle it and I'm just pulling back.
Like everybody stop talking. Everybody stop talking. I want to listen.
I really liked when the body told boundaries to stop talking. I was like, whoop, 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 whoop. I was like, really exciting. It was really like serving my purposes.
Body, Do you know what you need?
I just need to be left alone. Like I like that pleasure is happy that I'm talking, but I also don't want pleasure to be talking to me. I just want everyone to be quiet, please. I need silence. I need to disconnect for a second to all of these labels of all of these feelings that I have. Just let me, I'm like shaking, just let me feel what I want to feel in my body.
I'm going to do something a little different, something I've never done before. I want everyone who's in a role that's not the body to either turn off their camera or step out of the camera for a moment. And body, I want you to kind of take some distance or let us see you in your entirety. Give yourself some space. How would it feel to stand up? Yeah.
I'm like shaking.
Uh-huh.
I don't feel steady. I don't feel grounded. Like my knees are weak.
Try to give yourself more space. Maybe between furniture.
Everyone else is not. Everyone else is not here, not looking at me, not judging me and deciding what I'm supposed to do and not supposed to do and supposed to feel and not supposed to feel and what's pleasure and what's pain and I just want to have feelings. I don't feel steady.
Mhm.
I feel scared.
Renata, the person, I'm going to say a line for you to say to the body and see if it lands or feels true. And if it does, you can repeat it. I check in with you first.
Mm. It's really oh.
Breathe. Yeah.
Hey, I can't say it.
Okay. How about
I want
you
to. Mm.
go ahead?
I want to say it. Mm. I check in with you first.
You keep saying it.
Mm. Mm. I check in with you first. Mm. I check in with you first. Mm.
Just over and over again. It's hard for me to believe it. It's hard for me to believe it.
Mm. It's like I want to say it to you, but there's like this, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the term catatonic, but like a phrasing sensation.
Mhm.
And it's like a paralyzing feeling. And I'm very aware of the tone of how I say it to you. Like I want to say it in a genuine way. And I keep telling myself like, I don't sound genuine, I don't sound authentic, but like I want to tell you.
So Renata, let's start with a smaller step. How about I see you? How does that feel?
I see you. I see you. I keep looking between body and my own reflection here and saying, I see you.
This is like the first minute that I feel like I can look at anybody and I only want to look at you. I want to keep talking about this. I feel like I've been trying to talk to you for so long. And I believe you when you say that you see me. I do, I believe you. I believe you when you say you see me. And I want this just to be the beginning of a conversation and not the end of it. Like this is just like the very beginning of a different kind of relationship. Where we can look at each other. I feel like we haven't been able to look at each other.
I keep going between wanting to hide you and keep you to myself and wanting to share you as my, not even like as a friend or a partner, but just as a,
I don't
just-
know about anybody else, but I know how much I love you. I know how much I want to have a relationship with you and how ready I am to be a vehicle for your relationships with other things and other people and other experiences. But my first and foremost whole purpose is to have a relationship with you. Just me and you. Just me and you always and forever. And that's the first step of everything for me. And I feel like you've been looking for all these other things without me, and I haven't been here with you the whole time. And I want to just be, I want to be here with you. I want to be a part of, I want to be part of you.
Renata, how does saying I'm here for the body? How does that feel?
Mhm. Before my throat was feeling tight and now it's my heart. Say I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Me too. Like a little kid all of a sudden. Come here, we'll call him here. Body. I'm here. I feel like a lightness, like my I just want like going on my tippy toes. I'm here. I'm here for all the things also. I feel like it's important for me to tell you, like I'm here for like the bicycle riding, and I'm also here for pleasure in an intimate way, but I'm also here for like learning how to, I don't know, like put together a new trinket. And I'm here for putting lights in sockets. Like I'm here for all the things. That's why I'm here. I'm here as all of the things, not just intimacy and pleasure and sex and lust. I'm lots of things.
How does it feel looking at one another? That you're for each other.
I like want to come closer now.
Yeah, I had to change the view from gallery to speaker because I wanted to see you.
I love your earrings. I love your hair, and I love your shirt, and I love the color yellow on you.
Thank you. I appreciate your openness and your light and your energy and your smile, and I just feel like what you're saying is genuine, and that you're really here.
It's you. It's a mirror of you. I don't know if you can see what you look like, right? I look like what you look like right now. It's you.
How does it feel knowing the two of you
That's
will be
crazy.
together for the rest of your life? You'll never be apart.
Mm.
Oh, that's so
It
crazy.
scares me a little bit. Like the first thing that came to mind was I was like, oh, I'm feeling like it's like I just want to take off my bra. It's feeling tight. Like I'm just wanting to loosen up. And then I'm like, oh, but I'm in front of a group. I don't want to like, be seen that way. And like, oh, I have to hide again. And so it's like I feel a moment of openness, and like I see you and I want to connect and believe that what we're saying now is true. And then there's also this part of me further back. It's like, well, I don't want to be too open. I don't want to like risk taking on some other kind of energy or pain.
Mm.
I think that's why I need everybody to turn off. I need everyone to just turn off for a minute all the other names of stuff just so that I could talk to you. I feel like whenever they come back in, then we lose our connection. And it's just like all relationships. There are going to be some days when it's better and some days it's not as good. But as long as we keep up this foundation and we keep up this habit of speaking to each other honestly and authentically and checking in with one another and turning off the noise around us every once in a while, I think that we're going to be just fine. I think we'll be even better than fine.
But how can I trust that you are here to protect me when there have been times I've felt open and excited and like a flower, and then was taken advantage of? Like,
I don't know.
So we're gonna answer that question in this way. Body, looking in the field now, who would you like to welcome in first? You get to choose.
Self-respect, 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 self-respect. What do you know about this?
Well, when you were speaking, Renata, I just felt like so seen. I just felt so seen, and I felt like I was wanted. When you were speaking to body and that you saw you connected and you saw and you spoke to body and body was talking to you, I just felt like I'm here, I'm alive again. I have space, and and I also wanted to work with love and pleasure and body, and I want to work with everyone. But when you have body, then I'm more seen or available for you.
Body, how would it feel to have another voice come in?
Boundaries.
Mhm.
Hello.
Right. Body, I'm not trying to keep you from pleasure or keep you from love or keep you from the other. I just want to be like a signpost or a guidepost where you can just touch it. And then maybe you still go do what you want to do, but now you're aware and you have something to kind of pay attention to. Like, okay, I'm going to let myself go do this, but I'm going to watch. And I'm going to see how that felt. And then next time I'll know if I really liked that, if I didn't, if I want to do something different. But I felt your maybe resentment that I exist. That's definitely not my intention.
I feel like now I want everybody, not everybody to be here, but like now I like hearing everybody. Before I was just like, everyone shush. But like now I'm just like, okay, now tell me. I don't know. Now tell me, like, not tell me what to do, but now like do your parts and the things that you guys do so that I can do what I want to do. I feel agency again. I don't feel threatened by your being here because I feel like I have agency and I have a relationship with Renata. And I don't feel threatened by you. And I don't mind you being here. And I'm happy that you're here. Like I liked hearing Boundaries telling me what she does.
Boundaries, can you tell us a little bit more about you? What's important to you, what your values are?
My job is to keep Renata safe from anything she needs to be safe from. Sometimes it's other things, people, sometimes it's ourselves. But sometimes there's a lot of freedom in the rules because the rules are kind of like the banks of the river, and like the water can flow because it knows where, like, it's contained, it's held. I feel a lot of love in my rule. It's not, you may not, it's yeah, just be aware.
I like that better than like keeping us safe from things we need to be safe from, but rather like directing us towards something. Like I love that riverbank. I love that riverbank thing. It's not smushing me in, it's just directing us.
Anything else you'd like to say, Boundaries?
I love you.
Body, who feels like they should come in next?
Just thinking that I can't decide between love or pleasure. I feel like I don't know which one is supposed to come first. And I don't think I'm supposed to know which one comes first. Like something similar about, there's something very connected about both. Can I have both of them come in? Can I have love and
course.
pleasure?
Yeah. Let's
Love
bring
and
them up.
I don't know. You feel like the same person to me all of a sudden. I'm just like, you're the same. I could smush you into one screen, you're the same.
Is that a thing? You
Because
mentioned
we
at the
are.
beginning- Oh, sorry.
I don't know, I was just saying we are the same.
You just like look marginally different, but like you're really just the same.
There's so much of you, love and pleasure. It's beautiful.
Does anyone else feel like before? I feel like everyone, you looked so different. Like your squares look different even, and now you really literally look so like you could be sisters to me.
I just want to say that I started crying when Boundaries was talking, and I just felt like with boundaries and the body and self-respect, I just feel like screaming out from a really strong place of why can't you include me? Like, why are you not able to bring me in? Like, why do you have to shut me out from, like, at first when Renata was talking to the body and saying, I see you, I was like, okay, I can adjust and I can exist in the mind, I can exist in thinking. And then I just felt like, I'm like, I couldn't breathe with like when self-respect and boundaries came in, and I'm like, can you let me come into this? Like, it's not fair. Like, why can't I be in this?
What you're talking about your enemy.
Mhm.
You're here. I feel you since the beginning of the call.
I want self-respect to look at pleasure. Let's look at this dynamic here.
Before I felt like you'd always take over. And it's interesting hearing you say that you want more. Like that you want, you want to be. And I want to work with you, but you can't take over all the time. It's just pushing me down. But I see you, and I love that. I love you. I love that. But I'm about I don't know how to bring you in, but I feel that I want to bring you in. But I wanna respect myself. Yeah. You destroy me.
Can you have pleasure? Can you I'm like looking at you, self-respect, and I'm like, can you be pleasured? Like, can I go in
Yeah.
you and pleasure you? Like,
Yes.
I'm like, I feel like you like this principle of like a religious organization, and I just want to enter you and pleasure you. I'm like, and why can't I do that? Like, I'm like, can you like just I'm willing, even
It's
though you're
hard.
kind of rigid, I will be with you.
I feel so rigid right now.
Like, let me.
It's like I want you and I want us to work together, and I'm really frustrated that I can't.
I have no shame about pleasuring you. Nothing.
Like,
There's
because you
no
destroy
shame.
me every time I'm on the floor, like squashed.
So let's squash
Of
around.
course you want to pleasure me.
Come on. Let's just
I
squash
can't.
around. Like, it's okay.
It feels
We'll like cry it out and feel good after. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Why can't you have me? Why can't you be with me alongside together?
You're not connected. You're not connected. You're different things. Just talking about it when you first came on together. You don't understand how you're even connected. Your
Like,
self-respect
self-respect.
comes from somewhere else. It's not having pleasure does not mean that you've done anything wrong.
We need to join forces, self-respect. Like,
A hug.
what?
I want to.
We like, how could the body say that?
Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Self-respect. I want you to create a paradigm on your floor in your apartment, maybe with a rope or clothing, like create literally an area in which self-respect and pleasure can exist at the same time. And make it as big or as small as you want.
Okay.
Okay, and I want you to see if you can step in here.
I feel like I have a front row seat or something. I just like want to watch.
Hmm.
What's it like?
It, it feels loose.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, oh. Is this pleasure? It feels different.
It's the area in which self-respect and pleasure can exist at once.
My God. Well, okay. How? Okay, let's be here all the time.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to make it bigger?
It's not big enough. I mean, the thing I have. Oh, but maybe. Oh, I see what you mean.
I feel like now the other. Yeah. What?
I can't stop laughing. Yeah, yeah. Okay. You got me.
Do you
Yeah.
are you ready to invite pleasure into this circle that you created?
Let that come right in here. Just like, boom. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, and pleasure, you can find your own spot on your floor and just kind of, we're creating this circle together. And boundaries, if you wanna just kind of lovingly like walk around it.
Walk around, you said?
Yeah, like you're the thing that makes this scene of self-respect and pleasure together.
Yeah, I had a thought that said nothing's wrong, nothing's bad, and boundaries gives permission. It's maybe you go do whatever you feel like doing, and the banks of that river can be aftercare. It can be, I'm gonna take care of myself after so I don't feel like total crap. It doesn't have to be, I'm not gonna do it, but maybe it can just be, and I have a scaffolding now. I have something that holds me afterwards.
Mm.
I feel like I'm going down a river.
Love, how is it to watch all of this?
Ecstatic.
Mhm.
I'm just watching and I'm like, everyone was so in their corners and I just wanted to be, you know, there, like giving to them. But it was kind of a lot of stuff. And then Renata and the body started talking. I could feel that. And
Not
my flow
analyzing, not
came.
analyzing. How does it feel right now?
Ah, feels so good.
Great.
It's so good because I had the thought when all of this was going on, and I just had this feeling of, or the message coming through that I am love. I'm infused in everything. Like everything has love. Like the body has love, but it's not something that can be thought about. It's something I need to be felt and experienced. And watching them experiencing me is just amazing. It feels so good.
Yes.
Like I just want to keep giving more.
We're going to do two things. We're going to put on a song. We're gonna put on a song for you guys to just kind of continue integrating this energy. And then if it feels good, we're gonna invite in the other. How does that sound?
I just say pleasure and love look different again.
Okay, and everybody watching as well, just notice what the song moves in you, what it brings out.
All you need is love, 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 all you step into the moment, let yourself free now. All you need is love, and you find your way. All you need is a little bit of love inside of you. Carry it like a light, I say. And this love will carry you through. All you need is love, 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 love. All you need is love, love, love. All you need is love, 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 love. All you need is love, love, love. All you need is love, 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 love. All you need is love, love, love. All you need is love, all you need is love, all you need is. So lay down your worries. Oh, oh, oh. Just take your time, don't stay with me.
Renata, does it feel safe to invite in the other? Or do you want to keep it like this right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll come back in.
Okay, so the other when you're ready.
I just want to name it because you said everything might be in this field. Here in this building, they were just doing a fire alarm testing very loud, like in this moment, and it just ended. And I was like, wow, are they going to call me in while that alarm is going on? So anyway, I just named that, but it just stopped as I walked into the camera. Yeah, my process felt like,
Wait, don't
yeah,
analyze. Just what's
don't
happening now.
okay. I guess with the alarm, it feels like moving into risk, like danger and risk.
Yeah. Renata, I understand there's someone that you're feeling drawn to who feels like they're taking on the role of shame.
Gonna say
I was thinking of her as my daughter.
Your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to bring her in?
Do you want to come in?
Like I can, but I honestly just feel like good just being acknowledged. Like just like to know that you saw me is like kind of enough.
This is all happening for you.
There's no way that's true.
It's happening for every little girl, for every child.
I just feel like pleasure is the biggest problem.
Self-respect, go ahead.
I've worked it out. I've worked it out with pleasure. I'm gonna come in. I'm in the picture now.
I know,
We're-
but
we're-
nobody talks about like all of the times that I like get shamed for it, so it doesn't really matter.
But now we have intention. We have intention, and we know whenever we're in whenever we're in a situation, we know this is what this is, and this is the intention. And I'm not gonna let myself feel bad for what I choose, and I will choose. And me and pleasure are gonna work together now.
I don't really care
And if
about
I stick
you.
my intention, then
Mhm. Go ahead.
if the intention is set, then I'm here. I will be seen.
Yeah, I don't really care about you so much. I don't know. I don't understand you.
Self-respect, I want you to look at the other and see what's coming up for you now.
No, it's a lot of anger. It's a lot of fuck you. It's a lot of like, I don't know. Like, I can't. It's very difficult.
Vicky, can
Go ahead.
Shame, can I just hold you for a minute and just like have a minute with you? And then I really just want to say goodbye and let you. I just want to like bury you very gently in the ground and let you return to whatever it is that you return to. I want to hold you first, and I want you to know that I know you, but that I don't need you. I really don't need you. Right? I don't need you ever. And I want you to go home. And I love you for who you are, but I want you to go home.
I don't know where I live.
Just in the ground.
I don't feel like I came from the ground.
I don't know if you did.
Body, I want you to tell this piece. It's time to rest. It's time to lay down. It's time to be buried, whatever feels good for you.
I want to hold her just for 1 second.
Mhm.
I don't feel like the ground is the place. I just like, that's not.
What about the air? Can you disappear?
Yeah, I would rather, like, people are dust and earth and I'm not that.
Okay.
So going back up into the air.
I'm letting you know that I recognize you. I don't know why it feels very important for you to know it. I really recognize you, and I'm not just saying that. I really recognize you.
Can I make a request?
Mhm.
Can I at least be a memory or something? Like, I don't just want to like go away and be totally gone. If like otherwise it's like I didn't even exist, and like I'm really real. So
I want to validate all of the experiences that brought you here as real, and all of the feelings that you've had as real.
but I don't want validation. Like I know they're real.
Molly, hold on. Molly, if you can add in Kay. And Kay, I want you to change your name either to the past.
Oh, yeah. The past.
I don't feel like I'm all bad, and it kind of sounds like you're saying I'm all bad.
No, you're not all bad.
I want to hold you for a minute. I don't think you're bad. I just don't think
You're,
you need to be let go.
yeah, the whole time I'm like, when you're like, pleasure. I'm like, you're just an ex-partner and it's time to go home. Our lives have broken off. Like we haven't been together for a long, long time. I have a whole new life now.
I guess
And-
I'm not.
Hold on, hold on. And
And you have to go home.
hold on, hold on.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying Anthony.
You made us who we are. You will always be part of our story.
Mhm.
You will always be,
I-
you will always be part of who we are.
That's not good enough because like I was responsible. Like I brought in really like the most beautiful things are because of me. And
We
it's
are
not
here.
enough to just be.
I need you to listen. We are here because of you. The lessons that we learned from you are still with us.
It's not just the lessons, it's the people.
The people, the beautiful moments. You are an integral part of us.
I should-
Ask boundaries to come in. I feel like boundaries.
I just don't understand if I'm the reason why somebody else exists. Like why would you get rid of me?
We're not getting rid of you.
But
We
it
literally
sounds
put-
like that's what
You're not
doing.
listening. You're not listening. We're not getting rid of you. We put you into the frame. You are a part of us. But you're not all of us. And we need you to take your rightful place. We need you to be here. But we can't have you overtake.
I understand, and I'm okay. Like that's why I'm asking. Like instead of going into the air and the ether and going away, even like a picture of me or like just some
Yeah.
like I want some mark that I existed.
Look around the room. You're in the frame now.
I know, and I'm happy to go away. I don't
No,
care.
no, 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 no. I'm saying there's a picture of you. When we're looking
No,
at this hole, when we're looking at
what
the
about
hole,
when I leave?
you're not leaving. You're here.
Right now, but then I'm gonna go.
No, we're going to take you with us. We're
I
going
don't
to
think that's a
acknowledge
good
you.
idea.
We're going to, you're not listening. We're going to honor you. The fact that you're here already means you're included. And we need to move forward.
Yeah, and I want to help. I can go.
We want you to stay here and we want to move forward.
I don't know how it's possible to move forward, and for me, I feel like a weight, and I hold everybody down, and I don't feel like that's. I'm happy to go. I really am happy to go.
Love's going to respond. Love has the answer.
Hello.
Hmm.
We love you so much. We would not be here without you. And we would not have it any other way. So thank you for being here. And thank you for all of the wonderful memories you brought to us, all of the wonderful people that you brought into our lives, all of your magic that you brought to us. We are so deeply grateful for that. We would not be here without you. We're not going forward without you.
I literally don't understand because I'm bad.
You're not bad.
Not bad. You just have to go. You have to go right now so we can
I
do other-
know.
You gotta go.
You're not bad.
I feel like I'm getting mixed messaging. Like the body is telling me to go, but everybody else is telling me to stay and I have a place. I don't.
If you're quiet, that's what I'm hearing. You can stay, but you have to be very quiet.
I don't want to be here. I'm with you,
I-
body. I don't need to be here. I don't feel like I need to be here, but then I'm being
The
told like
past, you're, just bring in some silence. You can lie down.
You're
I either want to
our-
go or I want to weigh down. I can't do a middle.
Please lay down. Please lay down.
I can't. Like it's like there's a block. I can't.
I'm here. I'm here. We're all here. We're moving. We're moving. There's movement.
I don't
Things
want to
been like-
be here.
You're here. You're part of all of us, but we're moving.
I
And
wanna
in,
be- I can't move. I don't feel like I can move. I can't evolve into anything. So I'm either dead weight or I'm out. And I can't lay down.
I need you to lie down. I need you to try.
There's something in the way. I don't.
Ada can let her, don't know.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Shame, it makes so much sense that you feel the way you do. And it's okay that you feel the way you do. Because that's what you do. That's what you're for. And you're so fucking helpful. Because it's like when somebody feels jealousy and it's like, oh, I'm jealous of that person because they have that. Oh, that means I want that, right?
It's more. I know it's more than that. Like it's minimizing. I just don't think anybody understands because nobody understands what I produced. Like nobody understands what I gave to the world that wouldn't exist without me. It's not jealousy. Like it's a human. It's a thing. It's a living person. And I can't like. I'm too dangerous to even have. It's like playing with fire to have me around. And like, I just don't really think you get it. I don't think anybody's acknowledging what came from me. And that's what I want. Like, I just keep looking at this picture of a mom and her daughter and just like holding her as a baby. And like, no, nobody's acknowledging my part in that.
I don't know. I feel like someone else needs to talk because you have taken up all the space now. I've lost all of my energy and everything that's happening. And you
I'm
can
trying
focus
to
on
do
one or
that. That's not my goal.
focus on connecting with me, or you can focus on shame. That's the feeling I have. And I hate that this is the way I'm saying it, but this is the way that it's coming through.
The
Now you
past, hold on 1 second, hold on.
focus on the past, or you can focus on you.
Hold on, hold on.
Made of all of these
Please
things.
stop talking. Please stop talking. The past, we acknowledge. The story is over. The story is over.
I don't.
Stop. I do not. Enough. The story is over. It's never going to feel okay. And you're the part that will tell us what doesn't feel okay, and that's fine. No, I don't want to hear it.
I just want to acknowledge that
I'm
it's not
asking you,
okay.
I'm asking you not to speak right now. We heard you. You're here. You're a part of us. Do not respond.
You don't understand.
I do not respond. This isn't your story. It's okay to have a part of it, but you can't have all of it.
I don't want it.
I'm not asking you to respond.
I just wanted to say thank you for the past.
Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate you and thank you. But I want to evolve and I want to be seen, and you're not helping.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. Thank
Stop
you.
talking. Stop talking. Just let people speak.
Where's the party?
I
I can't until the past leaves the room. I keep wanting to move towards the other, but the past is still in the room. It's too like voyeuristic.
Done.
Like it's like voyeurism. The past is just gonna want to watch.
The past just wanted to be thanked. Come on, pleasure, what you got? Ah. So, other, got anything to say for yourself? Now that we're all on here working together?
I feel I like it when you two dance together. It becomes easier.
Yeah.
But overall, I still don't have a lot of capacity for everything. Like I want to be a child, play with pleasure, and don't deal with all this serious adult stuff. Yeah, too complicated. So when you dance, it becomes like when self-respect dances, it becomes more playful.
Okay, we're gonna transition outwards. So we're gonna do it like this. Renata. Yeah, still with us? You're doing really, really well. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take everybody out of the role except for the other. And Molly, you're gonna spotlight Renata, and Renata, just checking in. Does that feel okay for you to just say what your new boundaries are? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying I have a lot to say to the other now.
A lot of sadness, you said?
A lot to say to the other.
Great.
And it's interesting because now it's 2-2-2. So I'm thinking like duality, partnership.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm gonna just take the others out of the roles, and then you'll get spotlighted in. Okay. And every person that we're taking out of the role, it's going into you as well. Okay. So the past, thank you. You can leave the role and go back to being K. The body, you can leave the role, thank you, and you can go back to being R. Love, you can leave the role and go back to being Masam. Self-respect, you can leave the role and go back to being Ravaya. Boundaries, you can leave the role and go back to being Angelica. Yeah. And pleasure, you can leave the role and go back to being Esty. And yeah, shake it out. Shake it out. If you need to go get yourself a snack, that's fine. If you want to stay here, that's also fine. And Renata and the other, if you two can get spotlighted. We're almost done, everybody. Everybody also just take another breath into your body.
They spotlighted, yeah.
Are they spotlighted? Okay, bring Renata back in.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge all the other people that are in this group because I've really been watching everyone, like with the dancing to the music, and I saw someone sit up with their baby and people laughing, and someone sitting in what looks like a kitchen and in an office space and in their living room, and I just felt like I could relate to everyone in some way, that that we're all showing up at different times in our life, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So that was really interesting.
We'll go into the analysis afterwards.
Okay, so to other.
Yeah, just hear this moment, this person in front of you.
So I thought it was interesting that towards the end you were saying that everything else was too complicated for you, but you wanted to connect with pleasure. Because one, you're showing up as the masculine right now, and you're drawn to pleasure, and that tells me that that's the only way that you want to connect with me is through pleasure. And you know, this whole conversation, the whole theme has been about sex, so sex and pleasure. And I'm thinking, oh, so you want to come in now you want to speak. And and so I'm hearing pleasure come into the space with this gentle voice and loving, compassionate presence, and knowing that it's not pleasure that I have a problem with. It's pleasure coming from the other. And how are those two, how are pleasure and the other affecting everyone else, the body, boundaries, and self-respect? Because it almost seems like the two of you are just, it makes me think of like middle school drama, and that you think that it's all about like it almost feels like there's like teams, and that you're like teaming up, like or like neglecting the others present. So I get defensive.
Oh, then let's bring it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, throughout I was just feeling there's this pain, or yeah, like this contrast. There's life on earth, or the difficulties, or like restrictions, constrictions, all of that, and then there's the heavenly quality of pleasure. And I want it as like this pacifier. I just want to be there and checking out and being there.
So you're saying pacifier, like you want to comfort or to nurture, like what is the
Yeah, nurture is interesting, maybe, but yeah, it just feels like,
Go ahead.
yeah, it's like dense, and yeah, like life can be dense and difficult, and then there's openness and bliss in that other quality, and I want that.
Let's ask it this way. I want you to look at Renata. What do you see?
Easier to see you as one person now, like with all those parts it was difficult, but now it's one person, a friend, and a peer almost now, like yeah, a friend, peer. I can talk to you, I can relate to you.
Renata, how was that to hear that?
it feels really good to hear that.
Yeah.
And I believe you, and I don't blame you. And like, I want to let you in.
Everything that was said before when you first started talking to him was the accumulation of all the stories you've been through, all the moments of your past, everything that brought you to this moment. And now we're refreshing the page and we're only here. Somehow we're going to try holding the past with the present. Yeah. And other, I want you to say again, just in this moment, what do you see when you look at Renata?
Feels like you're more real now and I'm more real now. Like I was in this dream-like state of I don't want the pain and I want the pleasure, and now it becomes, it feels like we are on a journey together as real people. Like somehow a part of me has accepted that, oh, where was I? I see you now.
Renata, can you receive that?
Yeah.
And the other, you can say again or as many times as Renata needs, is I see you now.
Sorry, your voice dropped for a moment. I see you now. I see you now as one real person, human being.
I see you as a real human being too. And thank you for holding space this whole time and for being honest and for being real. Like I don't see any like I appreciate how present you are and how you don't react with like you're respecting the space between us and not trying to like comfort me in a way that feels like what's the word? Not intrusive, but it feels like too close. Like there's a healthy distance between us where I feel safe.
Take a minute here, just receiving one another as two human beings.
And I apologize, I was dissecting you too much into all these parts, and I didn't like some and I liked one, and somehow having seen that like displayed as separate pictures and then put back together as one person, you, I feel more at peace and feel you more directly.
Take another moment here. What it feels like to be seen as a multi-layered human being with all the parts, and seeing the other as that too. Renata, how would it feel to close it here?
Yeah, I just want to say to the other that that the past will come up, and I won't be surprised if you get frustrated and and I might be uncomfortable with the body, and there might be times that self-respect isn't there, that boundaries aren't there, and that love isn't there. And I'm not asking you to fill that space so much as acknowledge it and just say that that you're here, that you support me, and that you see me, because that's how I want to connect with you. Like, I want to be able to support you and see you and connect with you that way also. We can't fill those spaces for each other. You know, like they can't replace each other or like try to play each other.
Mm. I feel joy and excitement now to do things with you, like to go travel with you. Like it feels a combination of grief and like not taking for granted, and like having found you again. Like I want to do things with you. I was trapped in my place, and now I feel more freedom and more joy.
Me also. Now I like want to hang out with pleasure and hang out with love and
They're inside of you. They're with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Renata, when you're ready, you can release the other and let him go back to being Steph.
Thank you.
And Steph, you can leave the role of other, shake out your body. Everybody take like a couple breaths in. Ooh. We just went on a really awesome roller coaster ride. So please, 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 let's take 5 minutes. Go get yourself some food, bathroom, water. We'll come back and harvest. Grounding is really important. Put your feet on the earth. Go outside, breathe some air, and we'll be back to just kind of lay this and settle this. And thank you, everybody. And Renata, thank you. Also, take care of yourself. And we'll be back in 42 after the hour.
Tearing me apart from the inside out so I can see myself from the inside. How long? Tearing me apart from the inside out so I can see myself from the inside. How long? Tearing you apart from the inside out so you can see yourself from the inside. How long? Tearing us apart from the inside out so we can see ourselves from the inside. And might be causing pain, and might be coming home, and might be saying this is all he asked for. Hold yourself here. Hold yourself here in this space, in your center, in this time, no other. One hand on top of the other. Hold yourself here. space in your center. Hold yourself here. Hold yourself here. With all of the pain and all of the anger and all of the joy, feel it all together in this space in your center. Hold yourself here. Hold yourself here. Hold yourself.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. I want to take a moment just to thank Molly, our assistant, the one who brought everybody here and managed the session as well. Thank you for doing that while all of this was going on. Really super, super appreciate it. All your support and your invisible hand just holding it all. Thank you. Renata, we're going to ask you how you're doing, and then you're going to space out afterwards. Okay. Yeah. So how is that for you?
I don't have words. It felt like a whole journey. Oh, I felt like I connected to each of them, in especially the past and the body and the other. Towards the end, self-respect, love, and pleasure, which is really it's hard to put into words where I'm at now, but really grateful, and I feel a lot lighter.
Go.
I feel a lot more aware of different sensations in my body, and yeah.
Go really, really slow with yourself. And just know it takes 2 weeks to like settle. Like everything that happened was happening in your subconscious. So journaling about it, therapy about it, like give it 2 weeks, because once we analyze it, it codifies, and it's still pretty, it's still moving. So kind of just let it still move in your system for another 2 weeks. Yeah, and for everyone in the role as well, and everybody watching as well, it takes 2 weeks to totally integrate, and years that it will still be rippling out. And Renata, like this was so beautiful and intense and powerful. And so we all thank you for giving this to us. It's a gift to everybody here. Yeah.
I do just want to add one more thing, and then I'll tune out or mute myself. But I thought it was so magical. Like this, I've only done one other family constellations, and it was so interesting to me, the word choices that people were using, because it really did feel like you were in my head and you were in my body, and like. And when you were being very assertive with the past, I wanted to be like, oh, be nice to her, like leave her alone. But at the same time, I saw what you were doing, and I was like, okay, good. She's putting her in her place. She's still acknowledging her. She's still loving her, but like, check yourself. And and the boundaries felt really secure and present without any kind of, and I just felt like everyone really yeah, it was really interesting. I think
Yeah.
we should.
We don't know how constellations work, but it works and it's magical.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. What we're gonna do here is we have 15 minutes now for popcorn, so whoever wants to go and speak. I did put my work in the chat, so you can look at my programs, and you can also reach out to me as well if you need. And my email, if anyone feels ungrounded afterwards, I'll be on standby. In the meantime, yeah, let's take this time to just gather. And feel free, if you weren't in a role, this is equally your time. So there's no priority of who gets to speak, whoever wants to speak.
I'm first because I also have to go, but first of all, Renata, thank you so much. I felt like that story was such a big, like such a nuanced, specific story, but also such a big, like wide generational, like big story that like we got to all be a part of on like a very real way. And I feel really grateful that I got to be here with you for that. So thank you for sharing with all of us. And I wanted to say I didn't think I would have a role because I feel like this is something that I've done so much work on. And then when I felt the body just like come, like literally bubble up in my body, like I was like a seltzer bottle. There was something about it that felt like there's a place. Usually I come up from like places of trauma. I'm always like inner child or like wounded something. And it was the first time that I was able to be a part of a family constellation as something that could see that of a place of healing. And I have never experienced that or seen that before. And I felt really grateful to be able to experience like, also when you're in a place of healing, you have so much to give to stories that aren't healed. And it, for me personally, and my story, I felt like that validated, like you can be useful even when you're not hurting, which I haven't always had. Like I always had something different than that. Like you can only have attention if something's hurting you. So that was very cool. That felt very cool. And it was fun to be your shadow for a little bit.
Thank you.
This is the coolest thing I've ever done. I had no idea what this was. I found your post in a Facebook group this morning. I was like, sure. And there you go. This was so cool.
Yeah.
And to feel like that mothering, love you, like in here was really special.
The roles choose you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Have fun.
I also have to go in a few minutes. I'll just say that if I want to, that pleasure is so self-centered, and the whole time it was a very self-centered experience, which was wonderful and pleasurable. But like in the beginning, I was like with the other, I was like, guys, he's beautiful. Let's just play, like chill. And the healing of the self-centered pleasure, like the evolution of it, like to at the end be able to actually, like there was like this revelation of this, like, oh, the other is a person, like the other is like a human man being with like a whole life, was really healing. It was really healing. So I just wanted to say that.
And I also want to acknowledge that, like, Ah, good that pleasure self-centered. Like how, when, when are we ever only in our own energy?
Yeah, I
It's
like came
always,
in and I was like, you said like, and pleasure is or not. I was like, SD. I knew it. I was like, yeah, but yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I want to also add this that throughout the session, I was in my own self-centeredness and feeling like there's a lot of noise, and I just want that like higher blissful quality. And I wasn't expecting it to end, and I didn't try to force it, like to cause like a healing, a fake healing point for Renetta or anything. But somehow at the end, when we came back to one picture, it came with a quality of silence and simplicity, and somehow like, yeah, as if I was lost somewhere in the duality of either too much noise and complication and wanting to take refuge into pleasure, versus suddenly it became a real person. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, I was being authentic with it. Yeah.
What happened was that we integrated.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped focusing on this is who I am, or this is who I am, or I'm this and not that, and being like, actually, I'm all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're able to see it as a full human. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
I have a few things to say. Thank you so much for choosing me to be self-respect. It was it made me realize, wow, pleasure, self-respect, how can they work together? Can they work together? Can that be together? But I started off feeling so sad and unseen and like just squashed, to like, wow, it's so powerful when self-respect has a place with all the other, with love, with pleasure, with boundaries. And then I was able to look at other and be like, okay, what's up, yo? Like, what's going on? But I couldn't look at other and be like, I just felt like I was frustrated and angry before. And then by the end, I was like, oh, I'm seen, I have space, I have intention, I know what I'm doing. Okay, let's go for it. And I really felt when shame in the past was talking that that it needs to be thanked and acknowledged, and yet, okay, it's okay. Like I like until here, that like enough. And I love and acknowledge and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there's a lot.
Yeah, go ahead, Kay.
There were a couple of things that came through, but one of the interesting things is how amorphous the shame was. Like, it was the daughter, it was shame, it was the past, and it was called different things by different people. And so it felt like I didn't really know like what I was, but it was somehow like some combination of all of those things. And that was like the first thing that when it started, I have a picture of myself as a child and my mom, and I just couldn't take my eyes off of that picture. And just as part of my own story, like I never knew who my dad was. Nobody in my family knows who my dad was, and that like the shamefulness of that origin story and playing those different roles. So that was like just fascinating to play out. And when Renata acknowledged the past at the end, it felt like that was all I needed. Like, to acknowledge that the past was always going to come up at different points, and to acknowledge it, it felt like such a close. But the feeling that came through when the other and Renata were talking was just like how sad it is that both women and men and people have been dissected into these pieces. So like, you like the legs on that person, the boobs on that person, the toes on that person, and like the hair, and like to the point where that's what we're sold is like what you're supposed to do, that both of them couldn't see each other as full people. Like, they only could see parts. And it was so sad to see that disservice that had been done to all of us that were dissecting people like that, and how it was like a shock that you could even have that integration and see somebody as a whole at the end. Like I didn't even think that it wasn't an option on the table.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this idea of something that came through in an ayahuasca ceremony for me, of like when we get stuck on one person's certain attribute, whether that's like putting them on a pedestal or demonizing them, just going like this for a moment, like spreading your vision of who they are and letting the dark come in, letting the light come in, letting the whole scale of it, because everybody's everything, you know? And when we get stuck on a person, it's because we're not doing this. We're hyper focusing on one part of who they are. Yeah. And ourselves as well, when we can't. That was what was happening. The past was starting to take over. And then all of a sudden, all Renata was her past, you know? And it's like, no, let's spread. So she's so much bigger than just that. We're all so much bigger than just our past. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, it was an important piece. We have time for like one or two more. So yes, Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, just on, my own personal path towards intimacy, like this being called sex. Like at first I hyper focused on pleasure and the other, and this idea of like just sex itself, but it was really incredible to watch the unraveling of somebody like growing intimate with themselves, which meant like taking and accepting all of the pieces within themselves, and then not really even being able to let in the other until like first the body, then the pieces, then like the physical body, the different aspects. And yeah, this was like it's just so powerful, and also just makes me realize like how we're all under such a strong social conditioning that's propagating this pieciness, and like the inability to really see ourselves and people and do that like spreading. And then just the question that comes up is like, if we know everybody's so much bigger, like still, like, how do we know that that person's for us? Like, and not just everybody's for us, like everyone's so much bigger. And then I guess that comes into like just the body, and like, I guess just piecing out, like, how do we know it's that person and not just, everybody's everything? Like, oh, then everybody can be everybody, and then I can be with anybody, or just like, it's just the question of that is like remaining for me.
Your soul only chose one body, and that's your body. And then your body makes a choice first, and your body is the thing that chooses and discerns and brings things in. But yeah, such a good point there. But like, we know that we can have discernment because our soul only came into one body and not the whole world. Yeah. Masam, can you keep it under a minute?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best. There was so much that was so interesting. It never ceases to blow my mind every time I come for these sessions. And there's so many times I'll be like, yeah, I'm just here to watch today, because sometimes it can get intense. And if I'm not picked, then it's like a role just coming through. And this was very interesting. As soon as I stepped in, it was like just this wave of just ecstasy, like just it was such joy. And looking at everyone and everything, it was so interesting to watch everyone sort of unfold and unfurl, like once all the parts and everything started being brought together. But the one thing that felt kind of off-putting, to say for lack of a better word, or that kind of made me sad at times, was not being chosen or not being heard. Because even when the past, when I was talking to the past, number one, the body came and chimed in.
We are out of time, so one or two more sentences.
Sorry?
We are out of time, so one or two more sentences. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just really interesting, because I was looking at everyone and was like, oh my gosh, I can only be experienced. And just seeing everyone dancing was like, oh, they're experiencing me.
Yeah. And to
Yeah.
segue off of that, our next group session is May 23rd in 5 days, and the topic is love. So to all come together for love and have love move through us. We don't have a client yet for it. So if you want to apply to be the client, you can reach out. We'll tell you how to do that. And give yourselves just a big breath of air. Thank yourselves for this. This wasn't just for you, it was for your family line. So much more than that. And yeah, I hope to see you there. And thank you, everybody, again. Thank you again, Renata. Massive thanks. Yeah. Bye,
Thank you, Renata. Thank you, Ricky.
yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.